Hi, welcome back to Escape News. I'm Ryan,
And I'm Chad.
and today we're going to be discussing the Armenian Genocide. I don't like people maybe don't remember or maybe not know so much about the Armenian Genocide. It's not brought up a whole lot, but of the more unknown things in the world, it's kind of more known.
If you're an
But-
American, you don't know a lot of about it
Right.
typically. But
Yes,
if
that's
you're of Armenian descent or
Would definitely know about it.
yes, definitely. And I know several of my friends. I don't have a lot of Armenian friends, but I know friends of friends, and they talk about it often.
Yeah. So this is a very big deal, and also, they're well, we'll get into it. But are the Armenian Genocide? This is something that kind of came about in the aftermath of the Russo-Turkish War, right? So the Ottoman Empire and Russia were just kind of going at it, and Russia basically won for all intents and purposes. And then there was like this, I guess, the Treaty of San Stefano that kind of helped end all of it. But then a bunch of the major powers in the world kind of came together to kind of help in the aftermath, right? Like because Russia was taking a bunch of land, and like, well, we got to scale this back a little bit.
With any war, you have one power or multiple powers come
Mhm.
in. They change everything, governments, society. They re-border everything. And when the war is won by a different faction, like in the case of the Allies later on or something like that, somebody has to come in and pick up those pieces, and you can't just everything goes back to the way it was before.
Yeah, there's a lot of remediation that kind of follows any kind of
Yes.
big war. Um, so what ended up happening is like the Ottoman Empire, or what's left of it, we'll just call it Turkey, what ends up modern day
Yeah.
Turkey. They were trying to kind of build back whatever they had, like kind of pick up the pieces and get back to normal. Well, within the borders of Turkey, they still had this a people known as the Armenians. Armenians. I gotta make sure
Armenians.
I enunciate that correctly. So the Armenians, they were just this cultural people. They existed inside Turkey. Turkey wasn't super happy with the Armenians. They kind of viewed them as kind of like an insurgents within their own borders, or they were just not Turkish.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like this kind of push of just get them out of here. And they weren't sure that if Turkey in a weakened state, Armenia might kind of uprise and take them over. A lot of distrust and paranoia, and back and forth it went. And so it ended up Turkey basically just kind of started in trying to resolve this matter, and it wasn't pretty.
Exactly. And so this is called the Armenian Genocide. It was just known as the systemic mass murder and cleansing of ethnic Armenians from Anatolia and the adjoining regions around the Ottoman government. This was during World War One. In 1915, during World War One, the leaders of the Turkish government they set a motion and plan to expel and massacre the Armenians because, like what he said, they didn't like them. So the general we're not going to go into the details of everything that happened here. Just like with most of these cases, there are lists and timelines of events.
Yeah.
But for your general knowledge of what happened during the invasion of Russia and Persian territory, the Ottoman paramilitaries massacred local Armenians, and the massacres turned into genocide following the catastrophic defeat at the Battle of, and I'm probably not going to say this right, but Sarikamish in January of 1915. And then they blamed this on Armenian treachery, and in the minds of the Ottoman leaders, this was the Armenian resistance, and they took it as evidence of a general insurrection. And the Armenian soldiers in the Ottoman army were disarmed and then killed. So there was some time between that as far as the disarming and kicking them out of the military and then eventually killing them. But by the early 1920s, when the massacres and deportations finally ended, between 600,000 and 1.5 million Armenians were dead, and many of them were forcibly removed from their country. Today, most historians call this event a genocide, being a premeditated and systemic campaign to exterminate an entire people. So this is different than just war and you wipe out a country because you're in war or fighting through regions. You're premeditating, and there was premeditation to this, that they planned to wipe out an entire populace of people that identified around whether it be a region or a cultural or ethnic thing.
Yeah. And So even today, like I guess I understand. I don't agree, but I understand why the Turkish government to this day denies that this ever happened. The closest they've come to acknowledging it is in some ways talking about it. So one of the generals in their well, not the generals, but they basically the way they were kind of framing it was that the genocide was just kind of part of war. You
Mm.
know, we went through the war and we just continued on going against the Armenians, but he pointed out this was more of a the war is over. Like there
Yeah.
was a clear demarcation. The war is over.
Yep.
You shifted focus, premeditated, and wiped
And
these
there's
people
enough
out.
information there to tell us that this was premeditated. This wasn't just something that accidentally happened.
Yeah, but you know, like I said, I get why the Turkish government doesn't want to really take that on. They don't want to acknowledge it, but they will outright deny it.
Which is so strange because like it would be make things better, you would think.
Yeah, I mean, so Germany kind of did this with the Holocaust. I mean, it's illegal in Germany to deny the Holocaust. They're upfront about it. They understand it's a very dark spot in their history for sure. But Turkey won't. They just won't go for it. So
Mm.
to this day, they deny that any of this even happened. Um, but and it's I mean no one's really forcing them to. I mean, but the majority of countries in the world have acknowledged that yeah, this actually did happen. Like this is a thing. So that's why it's really weird for Turkey to just like I don't know what you're talking about. Never happened. I don't know. You know, it's just kind of weird, like denial kind of thing. But
I don't know. But as far as modern ramifications, it does affect
mhm.
us today. Not us in America as much, unless you are of Armenian descent. But if you haven't seen in the news, there have been things about this place called Nagorno-Karabakh, or they call it Artsakh, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing those things either. My foreign accents are not that great. Very American. Um, so this is a breakaway state predominantly inhabited by ethnic Armenians, and this area is between Azerbaijan, I don't know if I'm saying that right either, and our current Armenia, and it's a small area that they have been fighting over for quite a while, and it was in the past year that things escalated even more so, which they've had multiple wars from what I understand,
Yep.
the first Karabakh War and the second one as well. They've had quite a bit of conflict in that area, but last year it escalated.
Yep.
There were a lot of people who died, and it was an unprovoked war against Artsakh, and that in this war in particular, Azerbaijan and Turkey both alluded together and started this thing, and I believe Russia has something to do with it. Of course, Russia in that whole part of the world always has something to do with the
Yeah.
countries touching it, you know. And so this has been a recent development that happened, that there were actual like war things going on there,
Yeah.
big conflict, and I think you have some more of the information about.
Yeah, the armies of the Azerbaijan. I mean, they were basically trying to liberate um, Armenian occupied territories. Right, they're trying to liberate some of the places. Um,
Liberating people that aren't ethnically them.
yeah, it's
It
odd.
doesn't make any sense.
But I mean, I was actually surprised. I didn't really hear a whole lot about this. I mean, this happened last year, September,
Mhm.
November. It ended November 10th of
If you
last
followed
year.
my channel, you probably would have seen me talk about it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, but yeah, they have it almost 2,900 people ended up getting killed. Um, And yeah, it's just kind of it's just really it's kind of sad, you know, it's still kind of going on. I mean, there's a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of issues, you know, with land rights and things like that, and they're just kind of like going at each other during this time. So like, you know, we're still seeing like these reverberations
Yeah.
almost 100 years ago.
Yeah, it's and things like this, just any war or anything that it lasts, the effects of an event last a very long time.
Yeah.
Think about 9/11 and what that did to our country, and the ongoing effects that has in the Middle East, us,
Yep.
the US going over there and being involved in several countries. And just like with this, so more modern development is Armenia, Azerbaijan agree to develop war-ravaged Nagorno-Karabakh, and I believe actually Russia and Turkey brokered this deal. So they're going to work together to build this region up. So that's the most modern, most recent development with the story, is that they're supposed to be working together to make the area better. But I don't know that one side or the other has fully made like this is part of our place. I'm not sure what the details were as far as that, the ramifications of it, but they're agreeing to at least, not make it a war-torn conflict area now.
Yeah.
Which is always a plus sign for people in the area.
Yeah, it disrupts supplies. There's disease because people can't get water, or it's a really bad thing, and like you're just multi-generational effects from that. Very terrible. That's just stuff that's kind of come up like that. So,
which you can go and look up some more information. Of course, with any of these countries where there's war and stuff, information is generally, like we discussed with conspiracy theories and stuff, and information is difficult to come by sometimes.
Yep.
It's also, there are actors in there just telling you information that could be wrong, and also telling you information that's wrong on purpose. And of course, with this, with war, with politics, you have disinformation constantly being. With the war aspect of any of these regions, I think Waziristan is another place that I've looked at. On northern Pakistan is another place that is in constant, basically like genocide type of stuff, like with the Uyghurs in China and things like that. It's very difficult to get the information, and these people don't have as much access we do in the West to the free internet and stuff to promote or just get out information that's accurate and reliable. So if you want to dig around into these things, you can. You're probably better off asking somebody who, if you know Armenian friends who have family there, they can probably get you the most up-to-date and accurate information. And of course, if you're from Armenia or have family there and can give us a little more information about it, we'd really appreciate that in the comments.
Yeah.
So, well, thanks for joining us. Hopefully that was informative. Just talking about, this is more serious than our, preppers and all the other crazy stuff that we get to talk about.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to be well informed about things that are going on both in the past and how the ramifications are to today. So if you see us over on Patreon afterwards on Afterburner, we look forward to having you there, and we'll discuss a little bit more. I'm sure that we'll get off track quickly.
Yeah.
So,
we generally do.
Like, dislike, we'll appreciate either way.
Leave
Thanks.
a comment.
Leave a comment. See you guys.
Bye.